on, everybody? It's another Al Gattulo Craft Beer Cast, and it's right here on AM 970 The Answer. Hope you had a great week. Hope you got your taxes done. Obviously, tax day here in the United States on April the 15th. And hope you got yourself a nice refund, or you didn't have to pay too much to the IRS. Some great stuff we got coming at you this week. No guests. We're going to do an all-news edition of the Craft Beer Cast. There's a lot to get to, and I'll have a recap of the final Atlantic City Beer and Music Fest from just a couple of weeks back. And I was going to do it here, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to make you wait as well. And we have, of course, our weekly segment with Gary Monterosso. I believe we are doing barrel-aged beers. This week is what he's going to be informing us on. But I'll talk more about the AC Beer Fest coming up. It's bittersweet that it ended after 20 years. But I think John Henderson would agree with me that it had run its course. It was time. It's time to end it, maybe do something different, maybe not, maybe leave it where it is. But we'll get more into it a little bit later on in the program. But let us dive into some beer news because there's plenty of it to get to. So the Back Yard Ramble is back at Screamin' Hill Brewery. It'll be on June the 20th. It's Saturday, June 20th. And the Ramble, what is it? Well, it's a fun, slightly ridiculous, totally unforgettable charity. It's a 0.05K relay speed walk. Teams of 4 each take a leg. It's about 41 feet. They race up the brewery driveway. Winners from each heat advance until one team takes the final victory. Now, what is new this year in the event? There are first, second, and third place medals. There are prizes for best team name and theme. There are sportsmanship awards and more. There'll be a food truck as well. And their master of ceremonies, Lonnie McCluskey, he's returning to kick things off, keep the energy high, and interview teams throughout the day. Again, it is Saturday, June 20th. The race starts at 10 a.m. The check-in opens at 9 a.m. Now, it's 21 and older for racers. Supervised kids can watch. Spectators are welcome, of course, to cheer everybody on. Come early to grab your Ramble sunglasses and koozie, complimentary with your ticket, plus a farm-fresh beer, and get ready for the first heat. Costumes are encouraged. The sillier, the better, but not required. You can choose your own theme. Tickets are $35 per person with a 20% early bird discounted pricing in effect until tomorrow, April 20th. That's Monday, April 20th. Grab yours at mobile.brewbill.com/the # menu/196 or click the link in Screamin' Hill's bio, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook. If you don't have a team of 4, they will add you to a team. Proceeds benefit Farmers Against Hunger and America's Grow a Row, 2 amazing charities working to get fresh local produce into the hands of those who need it most. Gather your team, start practicing those baton handoffs, and get ready for a morning of laughs, friendly competition, and a great cause. You can check out the site for a full list of events. Screamin' Hill, Screamin', just leave the G off, hill.com/events. Get ready to ramble. This is a fun event, and the baton, I believe, is usually a corn cob. So it's really cool. It's an early morning, but it's a lot of fun. I know the last couple of years they supplied donuts to get yourself prepped. And again, you're walking 41 feet, handing something off to somebody, and then they're continuing on the journey. And again, it's a speed walk. It's not a race. It's a speed walk. I mean, it is a race, but it's a speed walk. It's a lot of fun. Lonnie McCluskey does a great job of emceeing the whole thing, interviewing people. There's music. It's a blast. And you're helping out 2 great charities, Farmers Against Hunger and America's Grow a Row. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to try and get down there. I don't know. That's my wife's birthday weekend. We'll see what happens there. But a lot of fun and always for a great cause. And we love the folks at Screamin' Hill. And I certainly have to get back over to the brewery at some point. Maybe that's the morning that I head over. Anyway, keeping it in Jersey, Brotherton Brewing in Atco. They closed the spring of last year. And now, nobody knew. The owners wanted to retire. But nobody knew what were they going to do with the building. Were they going to sell the business? What was going to happen? Well, a year later, the brewery has been sold. It's been announced. It'll be reopened by new owners. Vantage Commercial is the real estate agency that put this together. I got this off of Highway 42, their Facebook page. They found a buyer, or Freeway 42, I think it is. They found a buyer. They guided the deal to closing. Huge bonus for the local and beer community. Obviously, Brotherton has this beautiful building that was a firehouse that they took over, and it's nice to see that it'll be in the hands of new owners. They're targeting a reopen around mid-June of this year. They say customers can expect to see all of their favorite Brotherton beers to return. Plans to expand the lineup as well. So they are keeping the name. They are keeping the recipes, and they're going to be opening, hopefully, within the next 60 days. We shall see. Kudos to them. Good. It's good to see that, the brewery closed, but now it's reopening under somebody else. And again, people would say, why open a brewery now? Is now the right time? If not now, then when? Right? I think, I was talking about this with people at the Beer Fest. Consumers have changed the way they drink beer. That's why I think festivals are going by the wayside. I think only the really good festivals that give you a lot of bang for your buck, and we're going to talk about one in a couple of minutes, really do what it's intended to do. Try the beer, try different beers, try rare beers that you might not have had, or a brewery that you haven't had. And then after that, it's incumbent on you to go to the brewery. And in Jersey, I think it's not even just Jersey. It's everywhere. Breweries are not a bar. Breweries are a place to go where you hang out with your friends. You share some conversation. I'm getting together with a group of guys in about a week or so. We haven't seen one another, the four of us together, in probably 30 years. And, it's just a time to catch up. It's not noisy and crazy and dishes going all over the place. Not that there's not a place for a bar. There is, or a gastropub or whatever. Breweries are a different space. So they really do connect with your community. So it's nice to see that somebody wants to reconnect people in the community with Brotherton Brewing, and I wish them a lot of luck. Speaking of which, brewery I'll be at in about a week from, not even a week from this week, actually. Wet Ticket Brewing, they're doing their music bingo again. Big success last time. This time it's on Tuesday, April 28th. It starts at 6:30. They'll be handing out bingo cards. If you get in by 6 o'clock, 6:15, then they're going to start handing out bingo cards. The theme this time is oldies. Al Pavleski, one of the owners, is hosting the event. A lot of fun last time. There's no cost for the boards. Games will be progressive. There will be prizes. If you want to head over to Wet Ticket Brewing, 1435 Main Street in Rahway, New Jersey. Going to be a lot of fun. That actually happens to be my birthday, so I won't be there. But you should certainly go and have a fun time. It's great. And they close, during the week. They're I think it's 8 o'clock. They close 9 o'clock. So it's 6:30 to 8. You're in and out. It's real easy. The music bingo was a lot of fun. Now, speaking of a festival, sells out every year and is certainly worth your time and your money, is the Flower City Brewers Festival, marking its 32nd year at the Rochester Public Market. Friday, August 21st, Flower City Brewers Fest is a night of raising their glasses to New York State craft beer. They celebrate the brewers, the bartenders, the artists, the truck drivers, the fans, everyone who keeps local craft beer alive. It's a unique night for New York State craft breweries from every region of the state to gather together in one place, the Rochester Public Market. But the night is about more than beer. They're also going to be celebrating New York State wineries, hard cideries, farm distilleries, non-alcoholic beverages, and food, all the things that make this state great. Enjoy live music, games, vendors, flash tattoos, and more. Something for everyone at the Flower City Brewers Festival, as long as you're 21 and over. Flower City's Brewers Fest is produced by the New York State Brewers Association. So what does that mean? Well, simple. Everything you love about this historic event stays the same. We're just adding more breweries from across the state, with ticket proceeds benefiting the New York State Brewers Association mission to support the New York State craft brewing industry through advocacy, education, and promotion. FlowerCityBrewersFest.com is the website for more information and to purchase your tickets. This event sells out every year. It's a great event. We had Paul Leone on last year to promote the event, and it's a lot of fun from what I've heard. And friends of mine have been at the event, said it was just a really, really cool time. So if you're in the Rochester area, you definitely want to check it out, FlowerCityBrewersFest.com. And then finally, Toast, the tab that you use, when you're checking out and stuff. They are, a premier point-of-sale system, Toast. A lot of people use Toast. So they found that the most expensive city to grab a beer is New York. Not a surprise. The medium pint, $9.16 in the Big Apple, likely driven up by Manhattan. Across the East River in Brooklyn, it's $8.02 for a pint. This is not a surprise. Honorable mentions go to Boston, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. They all average around about $8.50 to $8.70 a pint. Philadelphia, which is the host of the Craft Brewers Conference that's taking place this week, posted the steepest price increase of all major cities. A pint in Philly has increased about 3% to $7.17. Folks, these are expensive cities to live in, every one of them that I mentioned. It is no surprise that a pint of beer will run you anywhere between $7 and $9. It's not a surprise. And that I'm talking about macro beer. I'm not even talking about craft beer, which will probably run you anywhere between $11 and $13 a pint. It's not a surprise, folks. Not a surprise. When we come back after a short break, we're going to have more news and notes from around the beer world, including Phase 3 and their big event coming up in May featuring 3 great breweries on their Pixel and Friends beer. We'll have more info on that and a lot more on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Just another, man, I'll tell you, it's been a beautiful week in New York City. And I know tomorrow's supposed to be back in the 50s, but this week has been 80s, close to 90 on Wednesday. We had some 70s over the weekend. This is my kind of weather. My kind of weather to hang out, have a beer or two, chill, relax. This is my weather. Not so much for my dog. My dog Chase is a half lab, half husky mix, so not a fan of the heat, the thick coat. You know, he gets a little overwhelmed pretty quickly. He was loving the winter this year, boy. Let me tell you, 20 degrees out. Yeah, he didn't care. I'll sit out for an hour. You know, that's his air conditioning. What are you going to do? All right, so let's dive into it. We got more news. Again, no guests on the show this weekend. We got plenty of news to get to. A little bit later on, I'll have a recap of the Atlantic City Beer and Music Fest. I will also, we're going to talk in the next segment, Gary Monterosso's weekly segment. This is on barrel-aged beers. A lot of other stuff, too. But here's something. So 8 and Sand Brewing, still open down in Woodbury, New Jersey. But apparently, the brewery had been for sale for a while, and now it's being sold. So the name is going to change. It's no longer going to be 8 and Sand. Now, 8 and Sand is still open. Apparently, the final property transfer will take place later this year at 1003 North Evergreen Avenue in Woodbury, New Jersey. But the name is going to change. It's going to be called Freckled John Brewing. And again, it's a husband and wife team that's opening it up. I don't know too many details about it. Just that 8 and Sand is still open for now. You know, you can still go in. Apparently, the husband and wife are planning on expanding the facility. They purchased the property next door. There's a small house, I think, on there. They're apparently going to knock that down. They're going to build some more outdoor space and do some different things, maybe to have some food trucks in there and stuff. But, yeah, that's going to take place later this year. Apparently, they are looking for a brewer to brew their beer. The name is interesting. According to what I read, the story that I read, apparently named after his wife, the husband's wife, and maybe a dog or something. I'm not 100% sure on the whole thing. But it'll be coming later this year, 1003 North Evergreen Avenue in Woodbury, New Jersey. They'll be taking over. Freckled John Brewing will be taking over for 8 and Sand. The Colorado Brewers Guild, which is a nonprofit trade organization, of course, for independent craft breweries in the state of craft beer, as they call it, announces that over 215 member breweries across Colorado will participate in the 11th annual Colorado Pint Day on Wednesday, April 29th. Participating member breweries statewide will sell limited edition collectible pint glasses. $1 from every glass that is sold goes directly to CBG's mission of promoting, protecting, and propelling its members through advocacy, education, and public awareness. Had to burp there for a second. Not that you needed to know that. But anyway, this year's collectible glass features a design by Denver doodle artist Joe Palick, whose artwork celebrates a historic double milestone. It's Colorado's 150th birthday, but it is also, of course, the United States' 250th birthday. Palick's signature style brings a prehistoric, campy, and uniquely Colorado flair to the glass, complete with dinosaurs and other animals set against a classic Rocky Mountain scene, inviting beer lovers to discover new details with every sip. CBG's executive director, Shawnee Addison, says that Colorado has the fifth most craft breweries per capita in the U.S., generating over $2.4 billion in economic impact, but independent craft breweries still need our support, especially during slower seasons. Colorado Pint Day is a simple, fun way for Coloradans to invest directly in the industry that has made this state a craft beer destination. Now, they hold their fundraiser strategically on a Wednesday when it's a slower amount of people that come into breweries. So, again, buy the glass. $1 of every pint glass that you buy goes directly to the Brewers Guild. There is a full list of participating breweries on their website, which I believe, if I am not mistaken, it's Colorado Brewers. Yeah, coloradobeer.org is the website. And then click on Colorado Pint Day, and that'll tell you the over 215 breweries that are participating in Colorado Pint Day, which is really cool. And, again, New Jersey Pint Day coming up June 4th. I'll be celebrating that. I don't know where yet. It's great to see so many different Jersey breweries that are getting involved in buying the pint glasses, which I think is great. We're going to have Bree Devlin on next week on the program to talk about that New Jersey Pint Day and the refresh of the Brewers Guild of New Jersey and other things that they are doing. They're going to have their Brewers Guild week where they have a meeting for a couple of days in Hackensack. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a lot of other things as well with Bree next week. And then finally here, direct-to-consumer shipping. A lot of people use Tavour to buy their beers. And I've never used it simply for the fact that, full disclosure, I don't feel like going down that rabbit hole, that I know that if I start buying beer on Tavour, I'm not going to stop. And I have friends that do it. You know, you pick out certain things, this and that. And I guess the way it works, I've never downloaded the app, but I guess the way Tavour works, I guess you have to have a certain amount of beer in order for them to ship it. And I don't know what the shipping charge is, like $50, $60, whatever it is. Part of it is I'm not home, when beer deliveries come. Sometimes I'm not home, and somebody 21 or older has to sign for it. And then it was, do I have it shipped to the office? Somebody could sign for it, but then I got to carry all that stuff home. It's just, for me, it's not convenient enough. And to be honest, a lot of the stuff that I want to obtain, I can obtain through breweries themselves that they'll send me a sample, here and there. So certain states do direct-to-consumer shipping, but a lot of states don't. But the Beer Association released their latest direct-to-consumer beer shipping report, and it's a pretty clear-cut message as to what's there. Americans are ready for beer shipping to catch up with modern buying habits. And I think this is something to really think about. It's based on a survey conducted by the Harris Poll. 63% of Americans 21 and older believe that beer shipping laws should be expanded beyond the handful of states that currently allow it. And among regular craft beer drinkers, that number jumps to 81%. That's huge. Now, it's not really, at 81%, this is a market that's untapped by breweries. And if you asked breweries, I think that there are many of them that would say, yes, I would love to ship my beer to people. I would love to be able to, ship it in a box, put some beers together in a box and ship it. Now, again, some breweries might not want to do that because it's an extra expense for them. An employee has to be dedicated. And if you're a smaller operation, maybe it's not something that you could do. That's why you go with a third-party vendor. And I don't even know how the third-party vendor works because I know Source ships beers through Tavour. I know a bunch of them do it. I'd want, if anybody's out there listening, I would love to get some info on how you guys do it. Does somebody come and pick it up and then they aggregate it in a third-party location and then ship it out? I don't really know, again, like I said, how it exactly works, but it would be interesting to find out how it does. Anyway, As Sovo's Ship Compliance Regulatory General Counsel Alex Corral put it, consumers increasingly expect the same kind of convenience they get from just about every other product category. And beer, despite its booming popularity and cultural cachet, is lagging behind. Now, again, I think it's a little different here. You have to be 21 and older to drink. Now, I know that wine can be shipped anywhere, in pretty much in all 50 states. So, again, I don't know why beer hasn't caught up, but the report here says 77% say they buy more beer if it could be shipped directly to them. 72% would spend at least $50 per month on shipped beer. Now, that's not including shipping. That's not including the shipping fee. Half would go as high as $100 monthly, and 69% would likely join a brewery-run subscription club. Now, again, I don't know if I would do that, and I know that there are. I know there's a place in New York. Is it Beer Fridge? I think it's Beer Fridge. I can remember. We had the guy on once. I'm just trying to, in the memory bank, remember that ships beer in New York, but New York only, because you can do it in New York. You can ship it in New York. You can't ship it out of state. So. It is really interesting how many people want to do this. 91% of craft drinkers who are open to direct-to-consumer shipping say they'd be more likely to seek out those same brands in stores and on tap after discovering them through shipping. Okay, that's pretty good. So it's not replacing a traditional three-tier system. It's feeding into it. They like a beer they got. They want to go out to the store and buy it. So only a dozen markets, 11 states plus Washington, D.C., permit direct-to-consumer beer shipping in some form. Again, I think that this is something that the laws need to change, and it needs to change at the federal level to allow this to happen so that you can have direct-to-consumer shipping. Like AleSmith, I was noticing, will ship their stouts to you, but it's per can, and you have to have a certain amount in order for them to ship it to you, and it's through a third-party vendor. So you're ordering it from AleSmith, but the beer is going to somebody else, and then it's getting shipped to you, and they're telling you that it could be anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks before you get your beer. I don't want to wait that long. If I'm buying it, I want it within a couple of days. So I think that's the thing that has to be fixed, along with passing a law. But would love to hear your thoughts about it. Hit me up on the Facebook page. Send me an email, albert@nycradio.com, and we'll certainly get back to you on that. When we come back after a short break, more news and notes from around the beer world, including our little chat with, as usual, our weekly segment with Gary Monterosso. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. No guests on the program tonight. It's a news edition, and why not? A little chill music. Larry Basillo, she's really good. I'd like to see this woman one of these days. She's got a nice guitar sound. I like it. Hard, does some blues, good stuff. All right, so we're going to get into a bunch of stuff in a minute, but first, let's put it right at the top here. Gary Monterosso, he sends us his weekly segment talking about beer. This time around, it's about barrel-aged beer. Take a listen.
I'm Gary Monterosso for the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast. Craft beer may be cooling off overall, but one category is still bringing the heat: barrel-aged beer. Across the country, retailers say demand is not just steady, it's thriving. From bourbon barrel stouts to experimental limited releases, these beers are drawing in drinkers who want bold flavor and a story behind every sip. What's driving it? For one, crossover appeal. Fans of bourbon are diving into beers aged in barrels from legendary distilleries like Buffalo Trace and Weller, chasing those rich notes of vanilla, oak, and spice. And it's no longer just a winter thing. Shops report strong sales year-round, with some stocking dozens of barrel-aged options, ranging from everyday indulgences to premium collector-worthy bottles. Breweries are leaning in too, releasing creative twists and seasonal variants that keep fans coming back. So while some corners of craft beer are slowing down, barrel-aged brews are aging just fine.
Well, thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. Yeah, he's not wrong. I always say it's never a bad time for a stout. Never. Like, you can have a stout in the dead of summer. I mean, in Paragon Tap and Table, I know, did one once, in the middle of July, and I was thrilled. there's never a bad time to drink a stout. Obviously, in the summertime, you got to drink it slower. It's hot, it's not, and you want the beer to warm up to get that get all of those flavors out. But it's never a bad time for a stout. But he's right. The barrel-aged stuff is fantastic. My issue is, unless it's a 12-ounce bottle, there's no way I can open a big bottle and drink it by myself anymore. So it's one of those things that you want to share with other people so that they can experience it as well. Some are done beautifully, just as we, and I'll talk about in the next segment with Firestone Walker. We did a whole bottle share, and, the complexity of some of those beers after sitting in my cellar or other people's cellars for a number of years brings out a depth of flavor that you really just can't get anywhere else. So totally agree with this one on Gary. And, yes, I'm sure that the sales are much hotter for those beers because they're one-off beers. It's not like you try to get a bottle or two, maybe one to drink now, one to cellar and drink later, and they're more expensive. So can totally understand that. All right, let's dive into some beer news. One of my buddies from high school, Benny Police, sent me this information. This is really cool. I'd not heard of Runaway Train Brewery in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. And Honesdale is a place near and dear to my heart. My grandparents had a house in Hawley, Pennsylvania for years, and we used to visit, and I used to visit Honesdale all the time. So, and it's not a far trip for me from where I live. So maybe this is something I'd like to do. So they do a beer tasting express train, and it's $85 for the ticket. It's 21 and over only, right? Can't bring your kids. But here's what happens. You depart Honesdale Station. You enjoy a beautiful ride along the Lackawaxen River while being treated to 2 pints of the Runaway Train Brewery's finest craft beers, pretzels and mustard, and pickle dip and chips, right? Representatives from the brewery will be on hand to explain the tasting notes of the beers as well as discuss the local craft beer making process. When your historic journey returns to the station, you proceed to Runaway Train Brewery, a short walk in downtown Honesdale, or you can drive to it. You then be given a private behind-the-scenes tour of the brewery operations, a Runaway Train souvenir, and then you're provided with a fabulous lunch. Now, in April through May, the lunch entrees are roasted chicken with roasted root vegetables. June through August, it's barbecue ribs and fries with coleslaw. And November and December, it's brewery-spiced pork loin, roasted garlic mash, and green beans. Now, if you want to take part in this, runawaytrainbrewery.com. You click on excursions. The first date takes place April 25th, and obviously they have one in May. I think there's 2 in May, June, August, and then November, December. So really, really cool. This is something I would enjoy doing. Maybe I'll get my wife to do this. Maybe we'll take a ride up there and do it maybe for the fall, because that would be something that would be really cool. I'm assuming it's not that long of a train ride back and forth, and you get to experience some food brewery, and $85 is not bad. You're getting lunch on top of it, plus beer. It's a good deal. I like that. RunawayTrainBrewery.com is the website for more information. Hey, did you know William Shatner, who just turned, 93, 94, whatever it was, God bless him, likes beer? Now, this article was written, though, back in 2015 when he was in his 80s. So I'm not sure now in his 90s if he's still drinking beer, but apparently he did an interview with Cheese Connoisseur and said, I love beers from all over the world, especially ones that are dark, heavy, bitter, and chocolatey. And then he was explaining the various cheeses that he likes and how things are different when he was growing up in Montreal in terms of cheese and stuff as opposed to here in the United States. Really, really cool. So exciting that, to find out that William Shatner likes beer. But again, I'm not sure that he's drinking as much beer now in his 90s, but he's my captain, so I'll take it. But again, understand if you're going to do a search for this, the interview was back in 2015, 11 years ago. Iron Hill Brewery and Restaurant, remember, they filed for bankruptcy. They had all kinds of issues. They sold a bunch of their restaurants. They're back. They have apparently Mark Edelson and a group repurchased some of the Iron Hill locations, and they reopened in Center City today, Sunday, in Philadelphia. They opened at noon. They said, we hope you'll join us as we reestablish this brand you have loved for almost 30 years. We're excited to introduce you to a new chapter, new menu items, and a new beer called Unfinished Business. Ironbrewery.us is their website. There are apparently copycats and scammers creating malicious Iron Hill Brewery content and links. If you want any information, ironhillbrewery.us. They say they can't wait to see you at our other locations reopening soon. So kudos to Iron Hill. That's great that they're back and maybe a smaller footprint, and we'll see what happens here. Boston Beer Company could be on the hook for $175.5 million after a federal jury in Illinois sided with Arda Metal Packaging in a contract dispute over beer cans. The decision was disclosed in a recent SEC filing, though the court hasn't officially entered judgment yet. Post-trial motions are still to come. According to MarketWatch, Boston Beer is not backing down. The company says it disagrees with the verdict, plans to challenge it through post-trial motions and, if needed, an appeal. So nothing is moving on this front yet. However, at the center of the case, a supply agreement covering 2021 through 2025, Ardig argued that Boston Beer didn't meet the minimum purchase requirements for aluminum cans laid out in the deal. Boston Beer is preparing for the financial hit, estimating a one-time pre-tax charge of $175.5 million plus interest if it applies. The company says it would cover the cost using cash on hand, and its credit line doesn't expect the situation to disrupt the company's day-to-day operations. We'll monitor that for you, and if there's anything going on there, we will certainly let you know. And then a couple of other things before we break here. Phase 3 Brewing, Pixel, they're the beer that they always keep stocked fresh in their coolers and flowing from the taps. Always chasing the purest expression of Citra we can pack into a hazy, pillowy, endlessly drinkable IPA. Well, this year, we're celebrating Pixel, according to them, alongside friends across the industry we've been lucky enough to connect with over the years. For year 2 of Pixels and Pals, we're mashing Pixel with our friends to create a new mix pack built around collaboration, creativity, and Citra. So the second annual Pixel and Pills, they're collaborating with Brewhouse, Mesorium Bractorium, and Parish Brewing. That's pretty amazing. 3 epic breweries, right? Each bringing their own spin on a Pixel-inspired hazy IPA. Inside the pack, you'll find their flagship Pixel alongside 3 mashup collabs showcasing the different approaches, recipes, and processes that define how each of us interpret the style we love. Join us on May 16th for our simultaneous global launch with packaged releases and draft pours at select accounts around the world. More juicy details coming soon. Paragon Tap and Table did this last year. It was awesome. You got to try all the beers on tap. There was a special glass, and you could purchase a 4-pack. And Paragon was the only place in New Jersey that had it. So if they're doing the same thing this year, I'm hoping that Paragon gets it, because that was a cool experience. They had a lunch built around it. It was a lot of fun. If it's someplace else and it's close by me, I definitely want to take part in it. I mean, these are 3 tremendous breweries, Brewhouse, Mesorium, and Parish. This is good stuff. I mean, pretty cool. As soon as we get more details, we'll get it to you. Pabst Blue Ribbon and Grillo's Pickles have joined forces to drop a limited edition PBR Grillo's Pickle Beer. They're jumping into the pickle beer like everybody else. It clocks in at 4.7% ABV. The Grab It While You Can collaboration delivers a bright, tangy profile, balances the maltiness of PBR's classic lager with the crisp, dill-forward punch that tastes unmistakably Grillo's. Easy drinking, sessionable, and a refreshing brew for the summer nights. They are co-branding the paint scheme for a car in the NASCAR Cup Series Jack Links 500 at Talladega Super Speedway. That'll be on April 21st, creating a bold, highly visible moment that showcases the partnership. It'll be available at retailers nationwide, including Walmart, Albertsons, Safeway, Publix, Food Lion, Total Wine, and more. GoPuff, Quick Trip, and other retailers starting on May 4th while supplies last. Pickle beer. It's a thing. People like it. I don't know. It's not really for me, but I get it. When we come back after a short break, my recap of the final Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival that I attended. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Final segment of the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer, and we got one little bit of news to get to, and then I want to give you my thoughts and recap of the Atlantic City Beer and Music Fest, the final one that took place in Atlantic City at the Convention Center last weekend. Brooklyn Brewery is launching the Brooklyn Brewery Non-Alcoholic, a rebrand of its award-winning non-alcoholic portfolio, formerly known as Brooklyn Special Effects. They've been doing this for a long time, even before Athletic, because I remember tasting a Brooklyn Brewery non-alcoholic beer at one of the kickoffs to New York City Beer Week. which I think was their, was it the Hoppy Amber? Or maybe it was the Special Effects IPA. It was one of them. Anyway, so they're going to have four beers, the Hoppy Amber, Special Effects IPA, Special Effects Grapefruit IPA, and then the Special Effects Pils. So a couple of different IPAs, an Amber Lager, and a Pils. Now, it'll be in different packaging. Excuse me. Updated names, new packaging. It's supposed to stand out. Again, it's 0.5% ABV that helped establish the lineup in the category. And then they have a new Brooklyn Brewery non-alcoholic variety pack featuring those versions of those four core brews and offering an easy entry point for drinkers exploring moderation or flexible drinking habits. The entire line will remain available year-round, continuing the brewery's commitment to producing full-flavored beers for drinkers who want the experience of great beer with or without alcohol. So, again, there's plenty of choices. And, obviously, Athletic Brewing is far and away the leader when it comes to non-alcoholic beer. But there are breweries that have been doing non-alcoholic beer. Brooklyn Brewery was one of the first, but never really, I'm trying to think if they ever really marketed the non-alcoholic beer back then, because this had to be, this had to be sometime around 2018, maybe 2017, was somewhere around there. Because I remember they were, maybe it was, it might have been earlier than that I had their non-alcoholic beer. Because I remember my buddy Greg and I, we went to the kickoff for New York City Beer Week, and Brooklyn Brewery was one of the first places that we stopped. We had a couple of samples from them, and then they wanted us to try the non-alcoholic beer. And I remember I got a pair of Brooklyn Brewery gloves that were fingerless, so that you can drink beer in the wintertime and still be able to manipulate your phone and stuff. And I still have those gloves. They're actually warm gloves. Good stuff. All right. With the remaining time that we have here, I want to talk about the Atlantic City Beer Music Fest, the 20th edition, the final one. And what a great time that I had with friends. So we ended up going down on the Friday night because we were originally supposed to have the Rare Beer Fest on Friday night that was being brought to you by Good Time Tricycle Productions. However, it turned out they didn't have enough ticket sales. Some breweries kind of flaked a little bit, and so they decided to cancel that just because they couldn't make it, they couldn't make it profitable. So we decided, hey, we're going to hit the Tennessee Avenue Beer Hall, and we're going to have our own bottle share. And so Mike Kivowitz from New Jersey Craft Beer got permission from the owner of Tennessee Avenue Beer Hall that we could bring some bottles. And we decided to keep the theme with Firestone Walker because they were doing a Firestone Walker tap takeover, which was great. Got to meet Josh from Firestone Walker, who had a great conversation. He was passing around samples of the anniversary, the Firestone Walker Anniversary Ale, which was pretty cool. So we started pouring those beers. And let me tell you something. Out of all the ones that we had, and there was a bottle from Eskerhart, it was a Velvet Merkin, but mostly we brought Parabola with us. I had a bottle of Napa Parabola from 2019. And Garrett Brown, who used to work for Firestone Walker, said to me, how did you get that bottle? Because it didn't yield a lot. We didn't ship a lot of it across the country. And I'm almost positive I bought that in New Jersey. Pretty sure I bought it when it was the original ShopRite Liquors in Westfield. And let me tell you something. After 7 years, that bottle held up beautifully. Still got the cinnamon. You got a little bit of the tannins from the wine. Really, really nice. That was delicious. So we had a great night there. Didn't have such a good night in the casino. It's okay. It happens. You don't win all the time. But Saturday night, I went to the night session, and I have to tell you, I was a little disappointed at the turnout. I knew the ticket sales were going to be low, but I felt like more people should have been there for this final event. And my understanding is the day session was a little bit more crowded than the night session, but still not super attended. People were saying that, the sea of humanity that usually happens, or as my best friend Mark said before they opened the gates, the unwashed masses. You were in like 2 minutes. Somebody said they showed up at 6:30 and breezed right through. I remember in years past, it would take you 10, 15 minutes just to get in because of the amount of people, which I think is more of a reflection on the cost for a weekend for people to be in Atlantic City, for the fact that people aren't drinking as much. There, I think, are a number of factors here. But once again, John Henderson and his crew pulled off an amazing event. I did the VIP, totally worth it. Bottles of water, you had snacks, you got one sandwich or whatever from the VIP trucks, which I thought was great, a T-shirt, pint glass, a bunch of different things. Really, really nice, fantastic time. Didn't stand on a line for more than 2 minutes. Got the beers that I wanted to drink, got to catch up with a lot of people. There were some outstanding ones, of course. I'm not going to get into the whole list there. It was great to see Round Table Brewing there from New York. Had no idea they were going to be at the festival. That was awesome. Had no idea that we were able to distro in New Jersey, which is great. Got to see Danny from Foam. Got to see a bunch of people and was very, very happy for that, right? Here's the thing that I was disappointed in. It's the final beer fest. There were a lot of New Jersey breweries missing. This is supposed to be a spotlight on New Jersey. Yeah, I get it. National brands. Totally understand it, right? Great to see Lawson's Finest. Great to see Sean Lawson, the owner of Lawson's Finest, come down. We're gonna try and get him on the program, hopefully in the next several weeks. So I was disappointed that a lot of New Jersey breweries opted not to come. And for whatever their reasons, whether it was too expensive, they didn't feel like doing it, whatever the case may be, I really was disappointed in that. New Jersey is at a precipice in their breweries. There are some that make fantastic beer and they get customers and it doesn't matter to them. All they care about is their distro. They know they're going to have people in their building. It doesn't matter. But there are others that do struggle. A lot of South Jersey breweries were there. But to the north, not many. Ghost Hawk, Bolero, a couple of others. I'm not going to mention everybody by name. I really would have wanted to see a bigger turnout of northern breweries and maybe some breweries that had not been there. And I get that some of them don't do festivals. Oak Flower, Autodidact, they don't do many of them. Twin Elephant doesn't do that many. I understand that. But I really think that more breweries should have been there as more of a representation of New Jersey. And I hope that that's not the norm anymore. I hope it was just, hey, I don't want to spend, $1,000, $1,500 for the weekend for my staff to come down. Which, again, I still think, you know what? Last time around, you bite the bullet and you go. But what John Henderson and his crew have done over 20 years has been nothing short of amazing. He continues to push the envelope. He continues to do new and innovative things. And I think it's an attestament to him that he stays in Atlantic City, that Atlantic City embraces him, that they want him to do other things. His witchcraft event is very successful. His tattoo event is very successful. His micro wrestling is very successful. Seafood festival. He runs a lot of different festivals and does very well at a lot of them. I think the beer stuff is just fading away. Now, do I think that he's going to come up with something new and different to do something beer-wise? Yes. I would put my money on that. The Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival has gone away. The next iteration that comes around is not going to be the same. It's not going to be a big band or something like that. I wouldn't even want that. Give me a great DJ that plays great music and give me some great beer and maybe some food along with it. I'm good to go. But quality beer, good beer, great beer. Curate it. Make it a limited ticket event. You'll get people to go. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because there are still some festivals that do very well. Again, for me, best bang for your buck. If you buy the tickets, if you were buying the tickets when you were just all in just for the beer, totally worth it. $75, $80, 4 hours of drinking, get to listen to great music, food for purchase. No other festival in New Jersey does that. None. And the bands that John has gotten over the years, unbelievable. Unbelievable. John, kudos to you. Kudos to your crew. You once again have pulled off an amazing event. Pandemic time, Bader Field, amazing. Before that, Convention Center all the time, amazing. Proud to have gone for 12, 13 years. Proud to know you as a friend. kudos to you. Cannot wait for the next great big thing from John Henderson and his crew at Good Time Tricycle Productions. My thanks to everybody involved in the show, and of course, last but not least, the great Buddy Watson. Back Monday on the Joe Piscopo Show at 6 a.m. This has been the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Cheers, everybody.